So then it's the McLarens on the front row for the Hungarian Grand Prix tomorrow. Mika Häkkinen and Britain's David Coulthard, followed by two ex-world champions, Britain's Damon Hill and Michael Schumacher. Tony Jardine, terrific effort by Damon.
That was a superb effort. That's his best qualifying of the year. He did 5th at Hockenheim, and we've just been watching this team improve. And the great thing is that they're maturing all together and they're gelling all together. And I think a lot of it goes down to Gary Anderson, as I said at the beginning of the programme, because he locked himself away after Monte Carlo when the car was at its worst, and he determinedly turned the thing around in aerodynamics, in mechanics of the suspension, etc. It was a great effort.
We've been saying what a difficult circuit this is to actually stay on, and a former Jordan driver, Giancarlo Fisichella, slid off and managed to keep the old Benetton going, which was an achievement.
Yeah, part of the problem here is the dust as well. Now, you saw the car bite in there, and then it suddenly changed direction as it hit the bumps. That's a great shame for him, that, and for Alan Permain, his engineer, because they were the combination that got pole position in Austria. But they have struggled with grip lately in the Benetton team, and they've been fighting this all the way. And there's no doubt about this guy's ability, but once it got offline, onto the dust and the dirt and those little bumps, off it went, and there was absolutely nothing you do about it. But the brilliant thing was that Giancarlo, and that's the mark of a great driver, caught the engine, sat there in the tyre barriers, managed to get it going and got back on the circuit, got back to the pits. And I'm sure Dave Richards didn't give him a big telling off. He probably said, look, what happened, and talked to him nicely.
Wonderful piece of driving skill there. The bookmakers, I think, go 6-1 on Mika Häkkinen to win the world title in 1998. And once again, here in qualifying, he has set the mark.
Yeah, his 9th career pole, and it's tremendous effort from the Finn. Huge support from him round the track here.
This is his first
Finnish
pole.
fag, yeah. First pole, yes, it's his first pole, career best. But it's just the way that he attacks. You can see him being forceful, you can see him attacking, and they've made so many improvements to that car. They tested hard in Jerez a lot long ago, made lots of improvements to it again, and you can see they're so dominant here.
He just seems to be able to pull out that little bit extra over David Coulthard, doesn't he, every time?
Yeah, because Coulthard was ahead of him through Friday and then Saturday morning, and suddenly he jumped him. It's almost as if he's stalking, just waiting, checking out each segment of the track, just improving his own, corner times, and then when it's right to go, he just goes for it, in for the kill.
We chatted to Damon Hill earlier on in the show, and he said he fancied the top 6 at the very least, and early in the session he gave us an indication that he was going to be up there.
Again, this is the detailed work that they've done on this Jordan Mugen Honda, not least of which is the Mugen Honda guys, because Damon had complained there was a big hollow in the engine power and there was a big black hole in the middle of it. They've really brought that along and improved it. And then, later on, after that 3rd place, when he went on to that, he got up to 4th place later on, which again was a tremendous effort. But grid position is so important, it's vital.
Well done. There's something about Damon Hill and the Hungaroring, isn't there?
I must admit, I seem to have gone well here over the years. But that's not to take anything away from the performance of the team, and everyone's been working very, very hard to get this car to work well on circuits like this, and I can't do it without the equipment, and that's really down to all the design team back at Jordan and also at Mugen Honda.
But it didn't have it easy, though. You had a problem on your 2nd run, and another problem on your final run.
Yes, but we always look competitive all weekend. I lost a bit of time because of a frost in turn 2, in the middle of turn 2, but in truth, there's a second between me and Michael, and I certainly couldn't have made up a second gap even without the frost there. But we were competitive, and that's a good thing. We were strong all weekend, and we stayed there right to the end, and now we're 4th on the grid, 2nd row, and you can talk about possibility of getting a podium if you start from those positions.
Yeah, he was on the podium here last year. Don't forget, Damon has never finished lower than 2nd in Hungary, but alongside him on that 2nd row is Michael Schumacher, and Martin Brundle pointed out really how hard Michael Schumacher was trying on a Ferrari that just isn't in great shape at the moment.
It's not in great shape, but it shows you how agile Michael Schumacher is as a driver. He's totally athletic here. He loves the turns and the hard nature of this track, but they tested like hell in Italy in preparation for this race. They did 4 days testing, 900 miles. It hasn't made a big difference. They're slightly better than they are in Hockenheim, and maybe the race will be different.
He's making the point, though, Schumacher, that he didn't expect that much in qualifying. He's ended up on the 2nd row, but watch me go tomorrow in the race.
Yeah, that means he's got a totally different setup ready for the race, and he's happy about it, he's confident. He's gone on the hard Goodyear tyres, which means he's looking for duration, but he needs to stick with those McLarens in the race like glue.
Little word on Eddie Irvine doing a good supporting role again, our Eddie.
Yeah, I mean, he's about half a second behind him, and he's in 5th place, so he's just behind Damon Hill, but he's close, and he's the closest that a teammate has been to Michael Schumacher over the years. I think it's good for Eddie. He's overshadowed naturally, and he's in for another year of that, but he'd rather stick with a good car than go into a non-competitive one.
Yeah, Tony, they got the European Athletics Championship starting here on Tuesday, and they handed the old baton round for pole a bit here today, didn't they? And David Coulthard held it for just a little while.
Yeah, he did, but David was using a lot of the curbs, and you can see him, he's just ever so slightly more ragged than his teammate Mika Hakkinen. But again, he's younger, he's got a long way to go. He's in a very good position because he's got that drive for next year, but he, like Hakkinen, has been training in the heat in Jerez, where it was up to about 38 degrees, and they're ready for this race. Schumacher says they can't take the heat, but it's going to be hot tomorrow.
How realistic do you think it is that David Coulthard's saying, OK, Mika's going to win the world title, but I'm going to catch Michael Schumacher?
If the decline in Ferrari continues, then it is possible, because, you know, there's still 50 points on the board before the end, and it is possible for David Coulthard to do that. And he's speaking very confidently. They've strengthened that package. Another thing they were doing in Jerez was testing all the components and making them go even further. That's very worrying for the opposition.
We have to, though, once again salute Mika Hakkinen. He's hardly made a mistake all year, has he, Mika? He's only been let down by mechanical failures, and here he is, Mika Hakkinen, the Finn, on pole again.
There you can see him just putting in almost a perfect lap, but the thing that gets me each time is the way these McLarens can actually use the curbs, and there you go, he got down to a 16.9, which was brilliant, but they're climbing all over those serrated curbs. It never seems to affect the car, just shows you just how well it handles and how beautifully they've got it balanced and set up.
Even to the uninitiated out there, you can see how smooth the McLarens look here. And there's old Michael Schumacher fighting to get his Ferrari round almost.
And I'm quite surprised by that, because of the long wheelbase of the McLaren, because it's much better on the faster circuits. This is a tight circuit. This shows how they've done their homework and their dominance, that it can do so well down here, and all the improvements that they've made.
And Mika Hakkinen's got all sorts of Finnish fans here. I think Budapest, a very popular place for the Finns. They like to come here for their holidays. Do you reckon they're going to cheer him home to another win tomorrow?
Well, they could do, but the great thing about Formula One is that anything can happen. It's been a long time since he's had a failure. He's had 2 failures. One of them was at San Marino, where he actually had some gearbox problems. But, you know, it could be their turn. Let's think back to Hockenheim. He had problems. Hakkinen had problems with fuel consumption, and Coulthard. If Ferrari had been better off and had a better race, they'd have been there to jump them, and the situation might have changed. You never discount Ferrari or Schumacher, and anything can happen in Formula One.
Absolutely. Let's just take a look at the grid. How are we going to line up tomorrow? Both McLarens there on the front, Schumacher threatening, and Damon Hill up there on the second row. Eddie Irvine and Jacques Villeneuve, winner here last year in the Williams. Frentzen not feeling well, but going pretty well nonetheless. Fisichella leading the Benetton Challenge, and Johnny Herbert in the Sauber starts 15th. Now then, don't forget this afternoon, F1 Special, the Murray and Martin show at 4:55. More from Damon Hill in that, and we've been to Finland to visit the championship leader, Mika Hakkinen. And tomorrow, apparently it's going to be even hotter. Race day. The race build-up starts at 12:20, highlights at 10:45 with reaction and interviews. Okay then, we've seen a 1-2 for the McLarens in Austria. We've seen a 1-2 for the Silver Arrows at Hockenheim. And Messrs Coulthard and Hakkinen ideally shaped here to complete a famous hat-trick. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.